In today's Clash Royale video, we are going to take a look at the final balance change in Clash Royale, which will be released the 2nd of April at Tuesday. I can promise you guys there will be some changes, like for the first Clash Royale balance change, which I actually showed you like 2 days ago. You guys feedback, Supercell respond, actually 3 cards got changed in today's video. I'm going to show you all the cards which changed and get a change for the next balance change coming at Tuesday. And also one card which will be absolutely nerfed a lot, and I think this card might be that, and it's currently one of the most popular cards in the game. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to use creator code more in the shop, subscribe to the channel, and also let me know in the comment section. You guys like the balance changes, you guys hate them, and I would say it's time we jump into that. Let's go. So guys, before we're going into the balance change, I kind of wanted to say like something about like my video about the about the update. I've also, if you guys maybe like the title, or like the title was a bit too baity, I'm really honest to you guys, but also I think some people just misunderstood me in general. I personally think the update, all of the update parts are bad. I really hate the new Pass Royale system. I hate absolutely everything about that, and I also think like the party mode and so on is pretty bad. I feel like the tokens are a bit cool, but that like the book and so on, I just really dislike it. But I personally like the Mega Draft change itself, and also really like that Supercell is kind of taking a risk there, maybe bringing something new to the game, and maybe like if that succeeds a bit, maybe they're gonna bring like 2 different ladder systems, similar to League of Legends and so on, to have like normal gameplay with like the normal 1v1 in the future, and also maybe like normal Mega Draft ladder. This is my opinion. I saw your comments about that. I understand everyone who's saying Mega Draft isn't really too cool, but I would say let's just see how the season goes, and if it's doing really bad, I think Supercell will respond to that. But yeah, just like for clarification, guys, I absolutely think most of the like 90% of the update things are bad. I personally like Mega Draft, but I understand your opinion. So yeah, I just want to say that to start today's video. But I would say let's going direct into the balance changes. Here we're starting with the archers. They still stay the same. First hit speed 0.1 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Yeah, this is still the same. So I would say nothing really need to worry about that. This is honestly really cool and important also, because archers are currently one of the best cards. But we can also take a closer look now in game. I think I already showed you that some days ago when we got like the whip balance changes, but these are the final ones, so they would actually take place at Tuesday. But what I think about that is it's really cool. There might be a bigger change also because spear guns get a buff there, but I don't know if it's gonna change a lot, because as you guys can see, archers, the first hit is there, but afterwards it's like on a royal giant troops with a ton of HP, it won't really be a difference. But against like squishy troops, maybe like magic archer, musketeer, for sure it will change a lot, because they're like maybe the archers just laid like 3 hits, so one hit, which is gonna change a lot. Like the first hit is gonna be like a drastic change in my mind. So I still think archers will be strong, maybe not as strong as they used to be, but I still think archers are a good deck, so you can of course keep this card in your deck. Next up, we got the Golden Knight. Dashing, dash distance, still 6 tiles to 5.5 tiles. Even I think like a ton of creator and a ton of you guys gave the feedback that this is not enough, and I absolutely agree with that. I feel like what Supercell is kind of trying to do, I don't really honestly think that's the right move, so I'm honest to you guys, but I'm just kind of saying what Supercell is planning right now with the Golden Knight. In my opinion, I think they just don't want to over nerf this card, because at one point the Golden Knight was really unusable. Then they changed kind of interaction that it goes more forwards to the tower. So currently, if you play like goblins on top of a miner, the opponent plays Golden Knight at the bridge, it's almost impossible to defend the Golden Knight, and the striker will always immediately go on top of the two which you're playing high, and then go on top of the goblin. So I just would like really to see that change like go away, because I think that was like really significant. So seeing that 6 tiles to 5.5 tiles, I mean, it could change something, right? At example, the opponent's playing a miner, you play goblins, maybe you're playing a troop high, maybe the Golden Knight after the balance changes won't be in range anymore. But I still think Golden Knight is absolutely insane and will be absolutely insane. And I think it's just like not just like one of the most broken cards in the game, also one of the most frustrating cards to play, because sometimes, or like most of the time, it feels like you can't defend it. You know what the opponent's doing, but you can't defend it when it's like when you're playing a troop next to it. You know, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't block it. The Golden Knight will just absolutely crush anything. So like, what do you guys think? What would be a good nerf? But like, I don't really have like anything in mind. Just between like, or just like bringing the old Golden Knight back, which is not going directly to tower as it is right now, which they kind of changed like few months ago. But let me know what you guys think about that. Next up, for sure, the death slash damage from Phoenix, and this was also one of the most discussed cards, and I saw a ton of you guys were saying this is not enough, but also were like some of you guys saying like, why nerf the Phoenix again? You already get 5 or 6 nerfs. but based on statistics, Phoenix is still one of the best cards in the game. Also, what is still insane about Phoenix is that you can use it in so many different decks, not just like Cycle. You can use it in control decks, in beatdown decks. And normally you could think, if you see the Phoenix as a card, Air Troop, 4 Elixir, really good damage. You normally could think, okay, this is just a card which should work in Golden Beatdown, maybe in some like graveyard decks, but it works in absolutely everything, in Minor Cycle also. And this is just like the thing with Phoenix. So I personally think Phoenix needs a bigger nerf because Death Splash damage. Yes, I would just remove the Death Splash damage. Like, why is that even in there? Like, compared to a Mega Man, you got like 2 Phoenixes, you got the active Death Splash damage. It doesn't die from Fireball Zap, it's just broken. Like, why did they do that? Like, I honestly just think, just absolutely remove this and it would be a good change in my opinion. Next up, we got the Furnace, and like, you guys were really worried in the comment section. I absolutely understand you guys. Who wants to play against Furnace spam? I honestly don't really want to play against it, but I absolutely... So like, I saw Bob the Rock, currently like the highest Royal Giant Furnace player in the world. He's like also like the only real one using in the top 200. Absolutely, so like saying this won't really change a lot. So once again, Fire Spirit spawn delay 1 second faster. So the Fire Spirits will spawn 1 second faster each time, but also lifetime gets 5 seconds shorter. So instead of like having the Furnace on the map for 33 seconds, it will be 28 seconds afterwards. And I personally think, and he personally thinks, that's not going to change a lot. So he even thinks it might be even worse because the Furnace lifetime gets reduced. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Maybe like a troop, like on Ice Spirit example, can destroy like more Fire Spirits in the situation, or just like a troop in general. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. I personally think like Furnace will be still dead, and I don't really think, or like I don't really understand why they're committing time to cards like that. I think that like more cards like Mighty Minded example is so strong. This would be an example for that. Or also Goblins. I don't understand why Goblins are on the list. These are both cards which, in my opinion, should receive a nerf instead of like just making reworks, which won't really change anything. Next up, we got the Speargums. You already saw it in-game at the start when we were testing the Archers, the attack range, 5 tiles and 5.5 tiles. I personally like it, but I'm also really biased there because Speargums are one of my favorite cards in the entire game. Speargums kind of getting outclassed by Archers, so they might be viable, and especially in CL, where you need to play a dual format and having like one card, or you can just play one card once per best of 3. I just think this could be a good change and absolutely like it. So guys, now we're going to the top 3 cards which got change from the balance change based on your feedback, based on the creator feedback, and now we're going into that. The first one is, the Rascal. So it still stays the same. The Rascal boy hit points will be still plus 6%, and I think honestly this is something I think is like a lot, since you kind of need to say, or like need to see 6% from a card which already has a ton of HP is like more than from a card which has less HP. I mean, this is how like percentage math works. But also like the spacing will be still stay the same. What we just planned with Supercell, Supercell already published us like 2 days ago, still goes in from 1.9 tiles to 3.0 tiles, as you guys can see here. Just the spacing firstly looks really weird. I mean, we're gonna get used to it, but that's just kind of change they wanted to do. Which for sure makes it sometimes like harder to kill that, to kill both of that, especially like with a fireball and so on. And yeah, just like the Rascal boy, they could also be like really good for like tanking for graveyards and so on. But what they kind of changed, which I think is also a good idea, is the Rascal girl first hit speed gets changed from 0.8 seconds to 0.5 seconds. First, when we released that like 2 days ago, Supercell said they're going to change from 0.8 seconds to 0.2 seconds, which would have been absolutely crazy. It's still crazy, like 3 buffs for the Rascals at the same time. It's still 38% faster. I still think that Rascals itself won't be really broken because Golden Knight is still there, but especially if we consider to have like the Mega Draft mode, I personally think this could be like a card which gets used a lot, because Mega Draft sometimes you don't really have proper big spell, or there's just one big spell like arrows. And if you guys like have the opinion or like the option to get the Rascals in your deck and your opponent can't respond to them, they're already really good at Mega Draft, and especially after the buff, the huge buff, they will be even better. So guys, next up is a card which like we always compare to the Phoenix, is the Mega Man. Attack speed 1.6 seconds to 1.3 seconds. This is what Supercell planned. You guys gave feedback, we gave feedback, and they kind of changed it. So I think that was a bit of an overbuff, because I think most people were kind of concerned there. Here we see a Phoenix and Mega Minion Meta, like both of the cards are would be pretty broken and maybe a bit too similar, and they kind of changed it now. The attack speed will be 1.5 seconds afterwards. So from 1.6 seconds to 1.5 seconds is not as big as it used to be, but I still think could be a good change here. Yeah, Mega Minion card which just gets outclassed. So I guess you're kind of seeing it here in game. It's a bit faster, and I feel like with a card, like with a single target damage card against Giant, against Royale example, the troops will get way less damage, because against these troops, the Mega Minion does a really good job. I mean, also helpful against, like, it's helpful, like, for sure, it's a buff against every single troop, but mainly against beatdown, and I just hope you see the Mega Minion in some decks, because Phoenix is just, like, over the place. And I think I saw enough from this card. But now, guys, we are gonna take a look at the biggest change in Clash Royale, which will be the Mina. The Mina actually, like, what Supercell planned was bring in the hit points, like, or bring down, better to say, the hit points for like 7%. But what kind of the feedback was from a ton of people, from a ton of pro players, from a ton of content creators, not mine to be fair, because I like the Mina, no, but I agree with the Mina nerf, but I think like the point was with like nerfing the HP, you would make the Mina worse in type of a deck where the Mina is the secondary win condition. An example, Lava Mina, Giant Mina. These are like, the Mina is not used in this type of decks to get like the main damage. It's rather used to just tank for like a Prince, tank for a Lava Hound, tank for a Baby Dragon sometimes, and just clean up things. So this is like kind of why you have the Mina in this type of decks. But what is currently really strong in the meta, it's not like this Mina support decks, it's like Mina main win condition, Mina wall breaker, Mina poison control, Mina mortar, just like Mina chip, Mina golden knight. It's absolutely insane. For sure you sometimes have a secondary win condition there, but really the Mina is like the main damage purpose there, and they really nerfed it a lot. 17% crown tower damage, 17%. This could be the end of the Mina cycle meta, and I personally think this is a huge change. So we're just going to compare kind of the stats. Right now, the Mina on level 11 is doing 58 damage after the balance change. As you guys can see, just 59. So -9 damage is absolutely incredible if you kind of like see, okay, the Mina does so much damage. It doesn't change any interaction against Musketeer, no interaction against like archers, just tower damage. This is really important for you guys to know. And I personally think this is absolutely a lot. Now also level 14, for sure it's even bigger. It's like going down from 77 to 64. I still think the Mina might be viable, like a Mina mod example, but I think this is a big nerf for Mina wall breaker. Also a big nerf for my good old brother Nate, who's like just using Mina control. No wall breaker, no mortar, no support. And I just feel like the Mina chip will be way worse, and I could think this could also make beatdown a bit better, because currently I feel like if you're using any type of Mina poison, you always need to let them connect. You always need to defend them, right? You can never let the Mina connect, because it's like better than a rocket, right? Like if you just use a Mina on tower and the opponent's not gonna respond to it for free, elixir, you get so much damage. But after the nerf, it will be an absolutely big change. So I personally think 70% is a bit too much. I agree for nerf, Mina's over the place, but I just think it's like a really cool concept and a cool card itself. It also takes skill in my mind, but it still deserves the nerf. But I think 70% is a bit too much. I would say like 10, 11, 12 I think would have been fine, but maybe I'm alone with my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think this is one of the most controversial changes Supercell ever did, balance change wise. And also, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the balance change. How would you rate him from 1 to 10? And I would say I'm out. Thanks for watching, and I love you guys. Goodbye.